A tea talk. Aloha, my family. It is your girl T, aka the nappy headed jojoba, and it's Tuesday, and I've been doing a lot of my tea talks. The response has been good. I've enjoyed talking about things that are not conditioner, and today is inspired by, as usual, things that have just been on my mind for a while, as well as some of the comments that you guys have given me under my regular videos, as well as in our live chats where we really just hang out and chat and have a good time. In a way, this is kind of an addendum to my fuckboy lookbook, because I have been told that I dress like a fuckboy, to which I said, thank you. As well, I was recently told by one of you guys, and I won't say your name in case you don't want me to say your name, but you told me that I have big dick energy. You were afraid of offending me, but to be perfectly candid, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. A lot of you guys know that I am single. I got out of a dreadful relationship last January, so it's been a full year of me dating. Until relatively recently, my options were pretty limited in terms of dipping my toe into the pool of online dating, but I found out over the summer that Tinder no longer requires Facebook. Tinder is, of course, probably the most popular / most discussed dating app on the scene right now. So I was keen to see, what else was out there, because it was pretty slim pickings with the other apps. Oh, there goes my dick line right now. Ugh, this guy. Anyway, I've been on Tinder about 6 months now, and it's been an experience. I didn't really know what to expect because online dating is already very strange to me. I loathe messaging and texting. There are a few things that I would rather do less than have a phone call. I guess I'm saying that I just loathe communicating. I just do better in person. I'd much rather meet someone face to face and see if we vibe at all, see if we have any chemistry, because it's really hard to tell what someone's like based off of a bio. But in my 6 months or so on Tinder, I have definitely learned a lot about what guys think we want, what they think will entice us, and they're usually wrong. Or at least they're wrong for me. So I just thought it would be fun to talk about the things that make me swipe left. And if you're unfamiliar with Tinder, left is the bad way. There are Tinder-esque mechanisms in pretty much all the dating apps, I think, at this point, where you swipe one way or another for people you like and people you don't. But I'm mainly talking about Tinder today. And of course, I'm also mainly talking about my thoughts and feelings on what guys need to not be doing if they want to actually get us to swipe right for them. I can only speak from my perspective. I'm only but one woman. And I can only imagine what it's like if you are a man looking at other men, a woman looking at other women. But, coming from the perspective of a cisgender heterosexual female who's kind of weird in her own ways, here are the things that make me say, guys, what are you doing? This has actually been on my mind for a while, so I have a note on my phone that I've been keeping of just observations that I've made, and I've titled it Tinder Red Flags. The first thing I would say makes me swipe left immediately is if a guy has one photo. Just one photo. We live in an age where pretty much all of us have access to a camera. If you're able to access Tinder, then you've got a smartphone, which means you have a camera. Take some more photos. The next thing that invariably makes me swipe left is when your first photo or your first two photos are of text or objects. So if the first thing I see is a picture of a car, I'm probably not even gonna see what your next photo is because I don't give a fuck. I understand that guys think that flaunting wealth and status and cars is meant to impress us, but that shit don't work on me. I can't speak for other women, but to me it just seems extremely vapid, materialistic, and just stupid. And then the guys who post photos of text or memes, it's just like, you're wasting my time. I don't want to be reading photos of text. I want to see who you are, what you look like. Obviously, the first aspect of attraction is visual. I don't think it's shallow to acknowledge that. So to put a bunch of things that don't even let me see who you are in your first photo or first series of photos is plain dumb. And then there are some guys who have 0 photos of themselves at all. Obvious swipe left. Okay, so the next red flag is, let's say you haven't done those first two things. You've got more than one photo. You don't have photos that are just of objects or of memes or other text, but you've got a ton of photos where they're all blurry and I can't even see what you look like, where I'm left to ask the question, was your photographer a T-Mobile sidekick? What is this? What is the point of having lots of photos if I can't even see you in any of them? Or equally bad is group photos, where all of your photos are group photos and I literally don't know which person you are from one to the next. Blurry group photos are another kiss of death for me. And it is extra tragic when I look at these group photos or even photos of just 2 or 3 guys and I say, none of the above. The next thing that tends to make me swipe left is posting photos of yourself with a sexy lady. I don't really understand fully what the intention is here when guys do this. I don't know if it's to say, hey, I was able to pull this down, so clearly I got something going on. Or if they're trying to make a stranger jealous, like, look, I used to have a girlfriend, but I guess I don't anymore since I'm on Tinder. Jealous? Like, I don't understand the reasoning. Now, sometimes it'll just be guys posing with their sisters or whatever, and they'll usually have to clarify that in the bio to say, like, it's my sister or something. But more often than not, it's just one or several photos of guys posing with beautiful women as if to say, look, I've done this before. I was able to get a beautiful woman before, so clearly I'm worthy of you as well. Regardless of whatever the mystifying reasoning is behind this tactic, it makes me swipe left every time. Another disturbing trend, and we'll get into some of the weird trends of things that guys do as we go along, is photos of guys flipping the bird. I don't know who thinks it's cool to include photos doing this. It just seems like a really lame way of trying to be like, look at me, I'm kind of a rebel. It's just so jive. I don't get it at all. And because it's so lame, I'm like, okay, this guy, I guess thinks he's cool, but he definitely is not. Another weird, disturbing trend I find is under the spot where you can put where you work, and you don't have to put anything there, by the way. You can leave it blank. But for whatever reason, instead of just leaving it blank because they don't want to disclose where they work, guys will often put that they are assistant to the regional manager at Dunder Mifflin. Dunder Mifflin, every time. Dunder Mifflin is, of course, the fictitious, I think it was a paper company on The Office, the sitcom The Office. I don't know why guys think that's funny to be like, oh, I work at Dunder Mifflin. It's just another one of those things where, again, I can only speak from my perspective, but it's just so jive. I swipe left every time I see the Dunder Mifflin joke. Girl, that ain't even funny. That's just lame. If guys don't opt for the Dunder Mifflin route to describe their source of income, they will often just put entrepreneur, which I have discovered is a really fancy way of saying unemployed. If a guy just puts entrepreneur, in my experience anyway, 9 times out of 9, these guys have fuck all going on. Another way to make me swipe left is to have no text whatsoever in your entire bio. There have been so many times where I've been clicking through the guy's pictures and it looked promising, and then I'll expand to actually read his bio and it's completely blank. That leads me to think two of two things. One, you have absolutely nothing to say, so this would go nowhere anyway. And two, you're almost certainly a fuckboy. And there's only room for one fuckboy in any of these tete-a-tetes, so swipe left. Almost as bad as no text is extremely brief text that has been selected poorly, like such as one profile I saw that said this and only this: skate fast, eat ass. I don't know if I want to meet the woman who swipes right or God forbid super likes that, but I'll tell you something, I ain't that type of bitch. Okay, we gotta talk about tigers. There is an epidemic of guys posing with tigers. This is not a euphemism. I'm being completely literal here. guys, I guess they go to Thailand and they go to facilities where you can pose with heavily sedated tigers. And that has become a thing. And it's not even a new thing. My friend has been with her boyfriend of 4 or 5 years now. They met on Tinder. And back then, when she was still on Tinder, the tiger thing was a thing. I don't get it. It's so bizarre. It's bizarre to even say it out loud, like, what's with the posing with the tigers? But trust and believe, it's even more bizarre to constantly see it. Another red flag for me, and this one is quite a bit less humorous than the rest, but posing with guns, either posing with guns or photos of you shooting a gun, immediate swipe left, not interested. This one isn't necessarily a swipe left, depending on how it's done, though it can be, and it's the in-bed photo. As if the guy wants to say, oh, wouldn't you like to wake up next to this? These are pretty much always selfies where the guy is kind of lying down and I'll pose like this, or one of these situations. It lacks subtlety. It's sort of like, hey, this is what's going to be on top of you. And honestly, it creeps me out almost every time. Very rarely will a guy be able to recover from an in-bed photo because they're pretty much never done well. If it seems harmless enough, sometimes I have gone ahead and decided to give it a chance, but for the most part, it is a massive turnoff. Speaking of massive turnoffs, we've got the PG-13 dick pics. I'm sure if guys were to post real dick pics, they would be flagged immediately. So they don't really do that. I've never seen a full-on dick pic on the Tinder. There goes my dick line again. What is going on? Oh, this guy now. Okay, listen. Another guy who I'm not terribly fucking interested in seeing again. Anyway. But the PG-13 dick pics, these are, okay. But the PG-13 dick pics, this is a situation where it's typically a guy with his boxers on, or maybe, the gray sweatpants, the infamous gray sweatpants. The angles vary. It might be just the crotch, which is the most alarming. Sometimes it'll be the mirror selfie style where he's just in his boxers, but he's clearly chubbed up. Regardless, again, what woman is going to be like, oh yeah, give me some of that. Now, sidebar, I do have a little confession here. I, until recently, had never received a dick pic. And I was really worried about the inevitability of getting my first dick pic because I was afraid that I might love it. Like, what if I'm the one girl who's just like, oh yeah, oh baby. I was legitimately worried about this, you guys. Long story short, I received my very first dick pic on January 1st of this year. So, yeah, I took that as a harbinger of this being a very, very fucked up year. This next red flag is one that I've seen only once, but I couldn't believe it. But the guy, his bio, I think he might have had 1 or 2 other things written in it, but the one thing that stood out to me was that he had his info for Cash App. Cash App. I imagine that if you are a man scrolling through women's profiles on Tinder, you might see a lot of women looking for sugar daddies. I don't know. And I dare say I do see a fair amount of men looking for sugar mamas, which is of course a swipe left. But the hubris, the blatancy of actually having your Cash App info in your fucking Tinder profile, get the fuck out of here. The last few red flags for me are things that are a bit more intangible than, say having your Cash App details in your bio. Like if you're giving me mugshot teas that looks like the police are doing a have you seen this man type of situation, I'm not going to swipe right for you. If you actually look like a serial killer, not only does it display poor choices that you would choose that as your way of making your first impression on a dating app, that sort of poor reasoning would indicate that you may indeed be a serial killer because you don't have normal cognitive abilities and the ability to read social cues. Let's say you don't look like a serial killer, but perhaps your photos are a clear indication that your life is generally in ruins. Extremely messy, cluttered, hoarderish looking bedroom, or again, these are the intangibles. I can't quite articulate this well to you, but I know it when I see it. I can tell when a guy is definitely probably not in a great place and not someone who I want to be inviting into my life. And let's end on one of my personal favorites, where a guy wrote in his bio, I shit you not, cook for me and I'll tell you tales of my adventures. I threw my entire phone away after reading that because just the misogyny of assuming a woman could, would, and should cook for you and that she should be happy to do so because she will be rewarded with you giving her tales of your adventures. Sir, I say this with peace and love, but eat an entire bag of dicks. I'm sure there are more things that make me swipe left real hard on my phone, but those are the ones that I wanted to share with you guys. Let me know if you guys are single as well, and if you're out there dating, let me know what are the things that make you swipe left, because I think it's going to be a fucking funny ass comment section under this one, you guys. Y'all are some of the funny, I feel like I have some of the funniest subscribers in the game. I love y'all so much, so I really can't wait to see how lit this comment section is going to be. And I don't want to just hear from heterosexual women, you know, like women looking for men. If you're women looking for women, I want to hear the tea girl on what's going on with that. Men looking for men, I want to hear all of it. And men looking for women, by the way, because I know there's a few of you guys watching out there too. So what are the things that make you swipe left? Because there's so many for me. I mean, I didn't even get into the photos of guys tandem skydiving. Guys, that is not hot. Anyway, let's light up that comment section. And if you guys are into this, we can do more tea talks on dating and stuff, because I feel like I might even want to do a video on dating safely in the age of online dating and stuff like that, because it can get wild out there. That's going to do it for me today. This was just really fun for me to film. I think it's just, it's going to be interesting to see what you guys have to say and what you guys are experiencing out there dating. I wonder even just how it's different from city to city. So be sure to let me know. I will link my previous tea talk right up here for you guys. And beyond that, I will see you guys in the next video. Oh, and in addition to your reasons for swiping left and all that kind of stuff, let me know if you have any specific things that you guys want me to do in a future tea talk regarding dating. So aside from the safe dating ideas and tips that I think I want to do for another tea talk, if there's just anything else relating to dating that you guys think would be a fun video topic, be sure to leave it in the comment section. I even had a request to do a like how to be a fuckboy video, which I gotta think about that. But in any event, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me, and I will see you guys for the next tea talk. Bye bye.
That's a nappy-headed hose there, I'm gonna tell you that now.